The crisp morning sun filtered through the windows of JFK International Airport as passengers bustled toward their gates. Among them was a sharply dressed black woman in her late 30s, her natural curls pinned back neatly, her dark blue suit pressed to perfection. She carried herself with quiet authority, dragging a sleek silver carry-on behind her. Her name was Tonia Marsh, and today she was flying first class to Los Angeles, but not just as a passenger. Tonia was a federal auditor, traveling undercover on a mission to inspect federal funding misuse in private airline contracts. But no one in the terminal knew that, and judging by the looks she was already getting, no one cared to know. Before we continue, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notification bell to get notified for more, share to friends. Where are you watching from? Please tell us in the comments. We love seeing how far our story goes. Tonia arrived at the boarding gate 20 minutes early. She stepped forward when first-class boarding was announced, her ticket ready. The gate agent, a white woman in her mid-40s with a rehearsed smile, scanned her ticket, paused, then frowned. "You must be mistaken. This isn't a first-class ticket," she said flatly. Tonia raised an eyebrow. "Could you check again? I booked seat 1A 2 weeks ago." The agent shook her head curtly. "Ma'am, please step aside. First class is reserved for premium passengers only." Tonia stood her ground. "I am a premium passenger." A man in a suit behind her scoffed. "Just let the real customers through," he muttered. Another agent, a younger man, leaned over and whispered something to the woman. She shrugged. "Let's not make a scene," she told Tonia, still dismissive. "You can board with economy if there's space left." The tension was thick. Tonia's jaw tightened, but she said nothing. Instead, she moved aside, her fingers coolly gripping the handle of her bag. She took a seat across the gate and quietly pulled out her phone. Her calm demeanor masked the slow fire in her chest. Her identity card stayed hidden in her blazer pocket. She had a job to do: observe first, act later. This wasn't the first time she'd seen discrimination dressed up as protocol. As boarding continued, several staff members exchanged amused glances in her direction. One even gestured toward her with a smirk. Then the manager walked over. "Problem?" he asked the gate agents. "She's trying to sneak into first class," the woman explained, voice coated in false innocence. "Figures," the manager muttered, casting a disapproving glance at Tonia. She locked eyes with him, calm, direct, unfazed. She said nothing. Once the last passengers boarded, and only the standby list remained, the same manager approached her. "Fine. There's a seat in the back. Last row," he said. Tonia stood, nodded once, and followed him down the jet bridge. Inside the plane, she passed through first class, catching sight of seat 1A empty. "Someone didn't show," the flight attendant said. "She's not authorized," the manager barked. Tonia said nothing, kept walking. By the time the flight took off, she was sitting by the lavatory, knees cramped, bag on her lap. But her mind wasn't on the discomfort. It was on everything she'd seen, every smirk, every dismissive word. She quietly opened her tablet and began typing a report. 5 hours later, the plane landed in L.A. And 24 hours after that, the airline's regional office got a knock at the door. 2 agents in dark suits entered the premises with federal authorization to conduct a surprise audit. Leading them was none other than Tonia Marsh, now in full authority. The shocked look on the manager's face when he saw her again was unforgettable. "You," he gasped. Tonia calmly handed over her ID. "Yes." "Federal Auditor Marsh. You're under review for violations of civil rights, discriminatory practices, and failure to comply with inclusive policy mandates outlined in your government contract." The gate agent who denied her boarding tried to speak. "We didn't know." "That's the point," Tonia cut in. "You judged me before asking a single question." As the audit continued, more patterns emerged. Complaints from other minority passengers. Footage of passengers in similar situations. The evidence was damning. Within 48 hours, the manager was fired. The gate agent was suspended pending further investigation. The company issued a formal apology, but not before social media exploded with the story, once a fellow passenger posted footage of the incident. Tonia never commented publicly. She didn't need to. The truth was enough. Weeks later, The airline announced a complete retraining of staff on anti-bias, federal compliance, and equitable service delivery. They also partnered with minority advocacy groups to rebuild trust. The story went viral not because Tonia made a scene, but because she didn't. She used patience, power, and procedure. She stood for every person who's ever been sidelined because they didn't look the part. Moral lesson. This story reminds us never to judge people based on appearances. You never know who you're speaking to, or what power they hold. Discrimination, no matter how subtle, always leaves a stain, but accountability can cleanse it. Every role, no matter how small, carries the responsibility of treating others with fairness, dignity, and respect. Let's be better. If you found this story moving, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notification bell, and share with someone who needs to hear this. Drop where you're watching from in the comments. We'd love to hear from you.